Come with me today to talk to my good friend and special guest, Chase Tasca, as we talk about the strength of perseverance, the positive impacts and challenges of changes and growth, and the power of what we tell ourselves in our daily lives. Let's have an awesome time together. Hi, Healing Hearts. This is season 2 of the Healing Heart Show with Toni Poe, and I'm here today with my good friend, Chase Tasca, and we're just going to talk about some things in his life and the power of perseverance, the power of change, the effects of change, and I think that you're just going to really enjoy sitting here with me and talking to him. So, Chase, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just great.
Good.
Yeah.
So, tell me about just basically about yourself. You're here in Seattle. Oh yeah, we're in Seattle, Washington, by the way. So just tell me about your life here.
Well, I was born and raised here in Seattle. Had a great childhood.
Okay.
Played a lot of sports. And barely made it through high school with passing grades.
Okay. How was that for you?
I was there for the social aspect rather than the academics, I would say. But after high school, I went into the electrical and heating and air conditioning industry. And I spent about 8 years doing that. I loved what I did. And then in 2017, I was in a motorcycle accident and was actually ran over. My chest was ran over, and I was paralyzed in the accident.
So tell me, like, what was the initial? I mean, well, were you like alert and like aware of what was happening, or like as it happened, or?
I don't remember it, but I can piece things together. There was video of the accident. I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think I'd want to.
No.
And there was also a witness there, and apparently the witness said that I told him to call some people, and I was coherent, but I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. Sometimes like trauma will make us not be able to remember that. You know what I mean? So we can like move towards the healing aspect of things.
Yes, I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. And I was telling you this before, and you probably know this already. To you guys, the viewers, about my accident years back, and about the whole not being able to remember everything, per se. But I think it's a matter of healing. So tell me about when everything first happened. How did you just like feel about everything? That's like a tough thing to go through. Like when you realized that you had the paralysis and.
The first thing I remember is waking up in the hospital and a nurse telling me, oh, you've been in an accident and you're paralyzed. So it was the first thing they told me, like right off the bat, and I think they do that so it hits you right away, and you're not like wondering what's going on.
Right.
It was very painful. And that whole process, I like to think about it still, sometimes it's hard to think about.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'll really think about everything I went through in the hospital, just to kind of remind myself of, how it all started and where I came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like a new birthday for me.
Yeah.
That date.
Yeah. So tell me about like how maybe your relationship with other people that maybe were in your life before and then maybe they weren't in your life. I mean, all kinds of things happen when major things happen to us in life.
Right.
Sometimes people stick around, sometimes they don't. You
Right.
know, that's just the human experience. Can you tell me about that and how that was for
Yeah.
you?
Well, I had a lot of support initially, um, and a lot of it was, before I even woke up. Um, a lot of people came to the hospital, and I was grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but as time went on, I feel like a lot of everybody, just went uh, back to their lives, which
Mm-hmm.
is totally
Mm-hmm.
understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Life goes on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I did have a lot of friends that, you know, they'd never reached back out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some I tried to reach out to, and
Mm-hmm.
it just we didn't end up ever reconnecting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think some of that has to do with, they don't know how to see me as this new person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I've changed a lot and for the better. And it's just kind of funny because those people only know me, like the old me. They
Uh-huh.
don't know the new me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've lost a lot of old relationships, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that it was meant to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Part of your growth.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like sometimes everybody's not supposed to go where we're going. And sometimes there's blessings in that, although it hurts, you know,
Hmm.
the loss of that, the loss of like what you're used to or who you're used to, or you know what I mean? Things like that. But in the same breath, I'd say it transforms us.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
that was your experience like that.
Yes. And
Hmm.
well, and on the other hand, I had um, some friends that I hadn't talked to in years reach out to me,
Hmm.
and we've reconnected, and our friendship's better than it's ever
Hmm.
been before.
Hmm.
Um, and those people, I feel so grateful to have them because there was some moments where I felt really alone,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and these people reached out at like the perfect time
Hmm.
and really uh, helped me uh, see that, there's people out there that don't really care if you can walk or
Hmm.
not. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
They want
As it
you
should
to be
be.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. What would you
So,
want to tell someone that is going through like the not so great side of that? Like someone who's in your situation that might um like might have gone through that. Like they don't know what they're dealing with. They don't know like how like what to say. Like what
um,
would something be that someone like what should someone say to you? What should someone not say to you?
um, so I'd say if you know someone that's going through something like that,
Mhm.
um, just be there for them.
Mhm.
Don't give up, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
because they need it badly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and if you are going through something, everybody's going through something,
Yeah.
and I don't like to think that someone's something is more difficult or harder than someone else's something.
Mhm.
Right? We're all going through it,
Mhm.
and I think that just remembering that everybody's going through something and uh, supporting each other
Mhm.
is the best thing that we
Yeah,
can do.
yeah. Because of like we're all a collective. You
Right.
know what I mean? I think that a lot of people don't see that. Like they let so much stuff separate us. You know,
Hmm.
I'm sure you guys know that too. Um,
Yep.
they make it so difficult when it could be like just so much easier.
Yep. Yeah. I think that we come together a lot easier than. Should throw off my train of thought
Oh,
there.
so that the growling that you hear in the back is Chase's lovely doggy Paisley. So she's deciding whether she wants us to do the interview or not. So I think that she's lovely, and it'll be okay. So go ahead. So tell me about the fun things that you've done in your process of like to where you are now. like the enjoyable things that you've gotten into?
Well, definitely wheelchair rugby.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's uh, it's pretty much my passion now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
But originally, it was just getting out and pushing my wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was a whole process in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd say just wheelchair rugby.
Wheelchair rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's incredible at it. I've been to a couple of his games. So just tell me about like that process. Like, how did you get into it? Like, what made you aware of it? And
Well, I was out just pushing my wheelchair on some trails near my house,
mm-hmm.
and it was during the summer, and I was pushing really hard, and there's this guy running the opposite direction on the trail, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, what is there, a race today?" And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm winning." Like I don't know
Yeah.
what he's talking
Yeah.
about. But I keep on pushing and end up getting to this park where I will stop and just kind of take a breath. And this woman was walking across the field,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a dog, and she kept getting closer and closer, and I felt like kind of weird by it.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I know, the dog's licking my leg.
Oh.
She's like, "Oh, you're not my boyfriend," and I'm like, "No, definitely not."
That's funny.
And she was like, "Yeah, my boyfriend and the Seattle rugby team is out here pushing."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh, the race, that guy."
Okay.
Yeah. So, long story short, I ended up connecting with them and getting out to a practice
Okay.
and just fell in love with the sport.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We were talking about you becoming, like interested in starting with rugby and everything. And it was because you were in the park pushing. So I know that you like to go to different places and push. And I know that you have done like 7 miles or something.
I was doing up to 20 miles in a day. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
But I can coast, I've got
Mhm,
wheels,
mhm,
so.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're lucky on that aspect because yeah, that's a long.
Well, it
It's a
started with me like barely being able to get out of the house,
Mhm.
I was quite depressed.
Mhm.
Did not know what my future looked like, I
Mhm.
spent all this time becoming an electrician and this and that.
Mhm.
Um, so it was hard, to
Yeah.
like find myself again.
Mhm.
But I'd say that the only reason I did is because of exercise and pushing myself.
Mhm.
Like the first time I went out to go push on the trails, I probably only went maybe a half a mile.
Mhm.
And in my head, I'm like, okay, turn around. That's enough. Turn around.
Mhm.
I would go home.
Mhm.
Then I would get home and be like sitting depressed.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what am I doing sitting at home? Like I can go farther.
Mhm.
And so then when I started hearing that in my head, turn around, that's enough,
Mhm.
I would fight it. I'd be like, no, you're not turning around.
Yeah, that deeper voice.
Keep going,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I, would go a mile, and then a mile and a half, 2 miles, and it was just little victories,
Mhm.
little victories,
Mhm.
and really like supporting myself and telling me, what, you did good today.
Mhm.
And I just started. Another thing I would do was I was always talking down to myself, like
Mhm.
getting mad at my legs.
Mhm.
And another thing that I changed was every time I heard something negative in my head about myself,
Mhm.
I would stop it right away.
Yeah.
And turn it and think of something positive.
Yeah. Redirect yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And really it was just like rewiring my brain to think that way. And after a while, it's like I'd have no negative thoughts, you know, and actually people get annoyed with how positive I am. So yeah, I'd say that was big, was exercise. You know, you can't just work on your mind, it has to be your body too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the physical part is not even easy for most people, you know what I mean? But that mental part, you can't even get to the physical part if you can't, you know, like stop lying to yourself that you can't do stuff.
Right.
You know,
because you can, you know, you're going to try and come up with every excuse, you know, of why you shouldn't be out on the trail pushing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's an excuse. You know,
where do you think that comes from?
Just being comfortable. You know,
being comfortable in your own self, or
no, I mean, like, you know, just like I have a couch here, I have a TV here, a bunch of food. It's so much easier to get on the couch and turn on some TV, turn down the lights. That's the easy route. The hard route that your body, your mind is just wants to take or doesn't want to take, the hard route, that's where you actually will see yourself progress, you know, and not just sit stagnant. You know, when you're really tired, it's hot out, and say you go for a run or a push, and your mind's telling you turn around, but you don't. You keep going farther. You're training your brain to operate on levels it's not used to operating on, you know, and you'll learn that you can operate at a higher level than you really think you can. Yeah.
If we only just tell ourselves that. I know you guys have done it too, so don't pretend you haven't. That's been a process for me too, you know, to do that. And I think for me it came from just doubting, you know.
Yep. Yeah. Self-doubt. Yep.
Yeah. It takes a lot to push back against some of that stuff. And I just can't even imagine for people that have like zero support, you know, how hard it is to fight past that, you know.
Yeah.
But you can.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah, you can.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you push and stuff, let me ask you about like your relationship to nature and how that helped you. Because I know like you often go to places like near water and, you know, water's a healing thing.
Definitely. And the sun, you know, it's definitely, I really think the sun has healing powers. The majority of the time, whenever I can, I'm not going to be wearing a shirt, you know, I just like to soak it all up, and the river, you know, just, I think not only the nature, but just being present in the moment. You know, I'll go out to these beautiful places with these trails, and there's a bunch of people out there, and they'll walk by me and like their faces are buried in their phone, and I'm like, you're missing it. Like, why are you here? You're missing what's going on in the world, you know. And I mean, good for you, you're out, but like there's one more step, and that's like put down your phone and like be in that moment. I just think there's so much to see.
Yeah, there's so much beauty that, I don't know, I just feel like that creators put for us to see.
Yeah.
And we get so caught up in our lives that we don't even, like, some of us don't even make that venture to go just right down the street to the park.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Even to look outside, to just walk outside and just breathe.
Right. And there will be days where I find myself getting in my head,
Hmm.
and thinking a lot. I think that it's a real challenge to settle your mind down and not to have all these running thoughts,
Hmm.
you know. But without a doubt, every time I just go outside
Hmm.
and push, even if I'm not pushing for exercise, but I just go out and take a little push,
Hmm.
take my dog for a walk,
Hmm.
and I come back, like all that has gone away. And it's like everything's clear again in my head.
Yeah, it's like a release.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of release, let's talk about your supplements. So Chase has a line of supplements here, and you tell me a little bit about how you came up with that and what's going on with that. So
Well, the company is called Balanced Biology,
okay.
and it's the relationship between man and nature. I think is or woman in nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important. Feeding yourself well, getting all the supplements that your body needs.
Mm-hmm.
The way it started was, I got on this health kick.
Mm-hmm.
And also my cousin is a personal trainer.
Okay.
And to be honest, he's the one with all the knowledge on, the right supplements to put in your body.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we just came together,
Mm-hmm.
decided that we wanted to put something out there that is good for people, and started the company.
Cool. So do you have is it just like the protein powders, or are there different components to it, or?
Yeah, so we have protein powders, greens and reds, some amino acids, pre-workouts, everything you need, before and after exercise.
Okay. Sounds like something I need to try since I've been in the gym. I've been in the gym again. I have a mentor trainer, and just like counting macros and all that stuff. It's a lot. Yeah. And I feel like I'm like constantly like stuffing my face. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's interesting. But
and eating is another, thing that can be challenging. Getting your diet right, and I think that once you get used to it, you start craving healthy foods. So.
Yeah. So did that kind of change for you when you started like being really active in rugby, or?
It was before that. After my accident. Before my accident, I was a big beer drinker. Well, anything I would drink it. So, and then being bedridden, I put on a bunch of weight, and that was just one of the, it was part of the process. I started eating Greek yogurt, fruits, getting that good gut bacteria.
Yeah, that's important.
And it just kind of all rolled into one: physical fitness and dieting.
Tell me about your biggest inspirations and why you keep moving forward.
Well, my biggest inspiration, what do I believe in the most? Myself. And I think that is probably the most important key factor of me being able to come as far as I have. When I'm not very religious, I am spiritual, But I think that the most important thing that someone can believe in is themselves. When you start trying to grab onto things outside of yourself to like make you happy, you're going to be disappointed every time. You know, I think it all comes from within yourself, and you know, you are the only person that you can really truly count on to be there for you. You know, and once you find that, you're unbreakable. You know, unstoppable. Because you can always just go back to yourself. You know. So yeah, I'd say myself.
That's why self-love is so important, guys. Because the transformation in your life, when you feel like you're at rock bottom, nobody's gonna pull that, you know, nobody's gonna pull you out of that except for you and your, you know, like your the way that you treat yourself, the way that you think about yourself, the way you change your thought patterns. Like Chase has said here today. And I think that's just a lesson to anyone. Is just to like believe in the power that's within us.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And that was a big it takes me back to when we were talking about friends. I have one friend in particular, Toni Jr. We reconnected. We hadn't spoke for a while, but he reached out after the accident, and I was really going through it. And I was like, man, I don't know if I believe in God, and you know, where is he now? And I was just complaining really, and he was laughing over the phone. He was like, why are you laughing at me? You know, and he was like, dude, just, you are God, believe in yourself, you know. And like the way he put it, it just really hit home. Like I was, you know, depending upon God or something outside of me. And it just really hit home and made me really decide to invest in myself. You know, and I'm very grateful.
The power of that. Wow. You know what I mean? The power of friendship. And
yep. And it was just
amazing.
It was literally like one sentence that he said to me that completely flipped the way I was thinking about things. So I'd say that, you know, when you're, you know, someone that's going through something, just remember that to be impeccable with your word, you know, because our words carry a lot of weight. You know, you can change someone's day, week, or year with just a few sentences. And I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's like the 4 Agreements.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. That's a great book.
If you haven't read it, read it, and then read it again, and then one more time.
Yep.
So Hi, I'm Toni, producer and hostess of Healing Hearts. Do you have a story that you'd like to share of triumph, of overcoming the things that might have broken you? I'd like you to come with me and share your story. One of the most wonderful things that we've been able to do last season was bring on dance, yoga, meditation, sound healing, and other fun activities that have helped us just be the best version of ourselves and to heal things in the past as well. The journey's not always easy, but it's something that we have to do to heal ourselves from the inside out and to heal the world. Okay, well, I think we've covered a lot of stuff today. And is there something that you would like to say in particular to our viewers?
I'd say if you're going through something and you're hurting, believe in yourself and do something to change it on your own. And don't rely on anything outside of you to make you happy. It all comes from inside.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Healing Hearts, for tuning in. And we will talk to you later. Peace out.
Peace.